like to do today is talk to you about the Track Star AVLS system. It is a fairly unique product in the field of GPS vehicle tracking. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that make it unique and different. And then we're going to demonstrate for you some of the capabilities of the system. Those will include some of the things that I know you're particularly interested in, as well as some features that you may or may not be aware of are possible with the application. Basically, the main differentiator with the Track Star system is that unlike most of the other systems that you'll find in this particular technology area, our system is not a web-based product. It is instead a software system that's sold to each of our customers so that they install it entirely on their own computer network and form their own private GPS vehicle tracking solution. What that means is that it affords you a great deal of data privacy. You've never got to be concerned that unwanted individuals might access location and other sensitive information about vehicles in your fleet through a web interface. The system is entirely private. Beyond the privacy issue, the system also affords you a unique capability to store positional records without limitation. Web-based systems typically will limit your storage of recorded vehicle history data to some period of time between 30 and 90 days, after which time the data is no longer available for your use. In our system, the data from your vehicles is stored in a database on your own computer equipment, and that allows you to retain that data indefinitely so that you're able to do things like examine vehicle activity season over season and year over year, functions that are just not possible in a web-based solution. Another important aspect of the system, and you'll see this in the demonstration, is that the Track Star system uniquely gives you the ability to augment the maps that we provide with the application with your own locally generated GIS data. We can use your Esri shapefiles that depict various utility infrastructure, property parcels, and so forth as overlays to the map data, and that too is a capability that's unique to our product. Web-based systems force all users to share the same common map database, and therefore customization at that level is not possible. We provide you with the ability to select from a very wide variety of devices in our application. We are not tied to any one specific device. You're free to mix and match the devices in your vehicle so that you can put the appropriate device in each vehicle that meets the cost and performance points that you establish for those particular vehicles. So those are the main differentiators, but there's another important one. The most important differentiator in the eyes of many of our customers is the recurring cost of operation difference between our product and our competitors. Most of the web-based systems that you'll examine in your research will charge somewhere between $25 and $60 per vehicle per month for access to the tracking information they provide. The only recurring cost of operation in the Track Star system relates to the licensure and updating of the map data, the updating to our application itself, and to technical support provisions and so forth for the product. And that fee is only $7.50 per vehicle per month. So not only will you find us to be among the most capable AVL solutions available today, you'll also find us to be among the most affordable. The system is comprised of three primary components. The first one is a server application. And please don't let the word server scare you. Basically what this is a computer program that can run on a server or a desktop. But its purpose in life is to translate the incoming GPS data from the various devices we support into a common packet that's used in the rest of the system. One of the other components of the system is a SQL database. That is the database in which the positional records from your vehicles are stored indefinitely. And not only does it give you long-term reporting capability in our application, but it also provides you a data store that you can use in other applications within your organization. For example, if you wanted to equip your transit vehicles with a GPS tracking device and collect data from them, you could choose to reach into our database and populate a citizen-facing website, for example, that would show citizens the location of various transit assets, and we store the data in our database in a fully documented and unencrypted form that is native latitude, longitude, and format, making it easy to integrate with other applications and projects that you may have in mind. The last element of the Track Star system is the client software application, and that is what you see on your GoToMeeting screen this morning. The actual client application is the graphic user interface to our product. It's where you see all the vehicle activity and notifications. It's where you are able to execute the reports and replay functions that we'll go through. It also is the administrative console for the application, so that folks in your organization that have administrative rights to the application are able to manage the various aspects of the performance of the product. Obviously, the largest component of the application is the map display window. The Track Star system is delivered to you with street-level map data for the entirety of the United States and Canada. This data comes to us from NavTech, and it's updated on a quarterly basis so that you always have the most up-to-date map data available for your use. The map is manipulated in the ways that most people are accustomed to working with digital maps. For example, we can use the mouse to zoom in by drawing a rubber band box in certain areas of the application, the map display, and we can repeat this process to drill down into more detailed areas of the map display. And as we zoom in, more and more information about the locality is revealed to us through street names, directional arrows to indicate one-way streets, and all the other detail information that you might want to see. We also provide in the map display a very wide variety of points of interest that are included. These are various government facilities and commercial entities, which you can mouse over to see the identity and location, contact information for these entities, and so forth. In addition to these ways of manipulating the digital map, we also provide you with 8 user programmable view buttons that you see above the map display window. These allow each individual user of the application to save and associate a particular map view with these buttons and then access them through a simple mouse click that will return them to whatever view and locale they have saved with that particular mouse button. There are also pan controls associated with the map display that allow the users to adjust the map up and down, left and right, and so forth, so that the visibility that they see on the screen is what is of interest to them. The Track Star system is a real-time system. What that means is that you are free to establish in your devices in the vehicle whatever update rate for the positional information that you desire, and that adjustment can be made on a per-vehicle basis. As the vehicles report their position data according to these schedules that you program into them, that information is stored on the map and also written into the database. So what you are seeing, in effect, is a real-time depiction of the movement and status of your particular vehicles. The vehicle that we're looking at here has a unique functionality in the system enabled in it, and I wanted to illustrate that to you. This is a Department of Public Works vehicle operating in Connecticut, and it's actually a snowplow. The orange line that you see associated with this particular vehicle depicts the vehicle's movement along the streets with the snowplow equipment engaged. We use the digital inputs in the devices that we support in the application to signal you about the status of various equipment in the vehicle. It can be a PTO, it can be a door that you want to know is open and closed, it can be a street sweeper. In this case, what we're looking at is a snowplow operation. The unit is configured so that when the plow digital input is active, meaning that the plow blade is down and engaged, we are leaving a line behind the vehicle to depict the fact that it's doing this work. The system has the ability to allow you to adjust the presence of this line, and if you look closely at the beginning of the line here on Farmington Avenue, you'll watch that it's actually disappearing from view. The line is set up in this case to be persistent on the screen for a period of 2 hours after it's created. So what the user is able to see from this view is which roads the vehicle have plowed during the last 2-hour period and which ones have not been plowed. So it gives you a great deal of flexibility, not only seeing vehicle location, but also being able to see the vehicle's activity and what it's doing as far as work is concerned. Each vehicle on the map is portrayed by an icon. These icons vary according to their meaning. The icon that you see depicted for this particular unit tells us that the vehicle is in motion, and we've selected the yellow icon to let us know that it's in motion with the plow engaged. We also have the ability to depict vehicle movement without any equipment activated. and we use a blue-green icon, a triangular-shaped icon, for that purpose as well. The vehicle that you see here that's in motion in New Jersey is red in color because that vehicle is violating the locally posted speed limit for the road that it's driving on. The speed limit obviously was 40 miles an hour. The vehicle's just reduced its speed to 40 miles an hour. And the icon has gone back to the normal blue-green color to indicate that the vehicle is now driving in compliance with the speed limit. That is a unique feature of the Track Star application. Our map databases contain the legally posted speed limits for the road segments, and we can alert you not only through the icon change, but some other functions that you'll see shortly, to vehicle violations of legally posted speed limit. We also have the ability to display a balloon associated with each vehicle that contains information about that particular vehicle. In this case, we've selected to display the vehicle's identity and its movement information. You can display up to 4 lines of information from the vehicle or related to the vehicle in this balloon, and you have control over what information is depicted there. Not only can this information come from the Track Star system and the GPS equipment on the vehicle, it can also come from external systems through a free API that we provide so that your other software vendors can populate information about the vehicle in that balloon for you, and they can also change the icon that's used to represent the vehicle. At the bottom of the map display is what we call our notification area. This is an area of the application that alerts you to events taking place in your fleet that you have informed the Track Star system you would like to know about. Things that can appear in the notification window include speed violations. They can be speed violations of legally posted speed limit. They can be violations of policy speed limits that you establish. You can also be alerted, as you see here, to speeds that are below posted speed limit. If you'd like to monitor vehicles that are traveling excessively slowly, you can set the system up to do that as well. We can alert you to device events, such as the device powering up and powering down. We can alert you to when the ignition is turned on and turned off, when those digital inputs are activated, as you see here, to indicate when the plow goes in the up condition and the down condition. We can also alert you to maintenance reminders for the vehicles. We can keep track of the time interval and the mileage interval between scheduled maintenance events that you establish in the system. And we can alert you to things like excessive idling time, excessive stop times, and entry or exit into geofences. And geofencing in Track Star is a very important function of the application. Geofencing, if you're not familiar with the term, is the ability to draw a zone on the map and be alerted to vehicle entry and exit from that zone. Creating zones is as simple as right-clicking on the map display, selecting the Create New Fence function, and then using the mouse cursor and the button to actually click and point at the places that you'd like to use to define the shape of a particular geofence zone. Once you've created this zone, you can now tell the system which vehicles you'd like to be alerted to entry and exit from that particular area. All AVL applications that you consider will provide you with some form of geofencing capability. Track Star not only provides an unlimited number of geofences that can be stacked on top of each other, that can be depicted by an unlimited number of points to describe the polygon, but uniquely, the Track Star system gives you the ability to create a geofence today and examine vehicle activity that has taken place before the geofence existed, and that is a very unique and useful feature in our product. For example, if you need to depict vehicle activity in an area, a citizen complains that there's never a police patrol in their neighborhood, for example, you can actually use our system to draw the geofence zone and go back as far in time as you'd like to develop a report within the system that will show which vehicles went in the area, which vehicles left the area, how long they stayed in the area for any period of time, even though the geofence didn't exist. And that's a very important and different feature in the Track Star system as opposed to what you'll find in other products. Anything that you program to appear in this notification window has the ability to, in addition displaying on the screen as you see here, it also has the ability to transmit an automatic outgoing email and or text message. And these emails and text messages can be configured to be to different recipients based on different vehicles and different events. You have complete configurability about the manner and methods that are used for transmitting these notifications. They allow you to do things such as send the city manager a notification when the vehicle leaves the city boundaries through the geofencing function, or to send someone in the safety arm of your organization a notification when vehicles are exceeding posted speed limits, or send an email to the maintenance department to let them know that a vehicle is due for a scheduled maintenance event. And you have, as I said, complete configurability on those on a per vehicle, per event basis. On the left-hand side of the screen is a depiction of the vehicle fleet broken down into a number of different groups. You have the ability in the Track Star system to create an unlimited number of groups and to divide and subdivide these groups to any level and extent necessary so that you can manage the organization of your vehicle fleet in our product the same way that you do in the real world. One important aspect of the Track Star system is that you have controls within the system to decide which users of the application are able to see and interact with which vehicles. And this is a feature of the product that makes us especially attractive in municipal deployments, because a single Track Star system can serve the needs of law enforcement, Department of Public Works, Building and Code Inspection, and any other department within the city, and you can restrict the ability of those individual users in those departments to only see the vehicles that they relate to. So it makes for a very cost-effective product because it can be shared across many different organizations. At the bottom of each group that you see on the left-hand side, you also have the individual vehicles. By right-clicking on any of these vehicles, you can perform some additional functionality that's related to those vehicles. For example, if I need to locate any particular vehicle on the map, regardless of where it is, I can use the Locate Vehicle on Map function and jump to the present location of that particular vehicle. I also have the ability to invoke a mode in the system called Follow Vehicle on Map. When vehicles are moving at a high rate of speed and the map is zoomed in so that a dispatcher or manager is paying particular attention to the vehicle's activity, it's very easy for the vehicle to drive off the edge of the map display. Rather than have the operator pan and zoom the map to keep the vehicle in view, we provide this Follow Vehicle on Map function so that you can actually cause the system to center the vehicle on the map display and allow the map to move around behind it so that the user doesn't have to pan and zoom. Another useful feature in this part of the application is what we call our Replay Movement tool. This is a tool that allows us to create on a map the activity of up to 8 vehicles at a time for any desired range of date and time. As we said early on in the presentation, the system has the ability to store these positional records without limitation, and this is one of the ways that we access that stored information. By selecting the vehicles and the desired range of date and time, we're able to recreate a new map window that will allow us to play, pause, stop, and rewind the activity of the vehicles that we've selected for the desired range of date and time. We also have the ability to accelerate and decelerate the replay so that we can watch it go by in real time, or we can let it accelerate and show the entire trip in a very rapid fashion. It really depends on what you need to see about the vehicle, and you can adjust the speed of the replay while the replay is actually taking place. The system will show us the date and time of position reports. It will show us the various speeds that the vehicle has traveled at during the replay event, and it gives us the ability to also see on the map display the route that the vehicle has taken, where the vehicle has stopped, and so forth. The cellular signal strength is also displayed here, the GPS fix, and any digital inputs such as door open, door close, PTO on, PTO off, and so forth is also depicted when we execute this replay. We also have the ability to create an outgoing video of the replay. So if we needed to share this replay with someone else, we have the Create Video function that you see in the lower right-hand corner of the dialog box that will allow us to create a Windows AVI movie file that we can use to show people this particular activity and share that with them even if they don't happen to have a Track Star system on their particular vehicle. So this is just one way that we're able to access that stored information. One of the map preset buttons that I want to show you illustrates the system's ability to overlay those shapefiles that I spoke about early on in the presentation. What you're looking at on the map display now is an overlay of an Esri shapefile that depicts a property tax map for a municipality in Massachusetts. This allows the depiction of the vehicle to not only relate to the streets and road level detail data that we provide with the application, but in this case it adds to that information the location of the various property boundaries, building locations, driveways, and so forth. And what it does is illustrate for you the ability that you have with our product to use your existing GIS data as an augmentation to the map data that we provide. Anything that you have in your GIS system, whether it's utility infrastructure, property information, all of that can be gathered into a shapefile and projected onto our map display. Above the map display window are a series of iconic tools. The first one obviously is a search function that allows us to enter postal addresses and find certain locations within the map. We've talked about the pan and zoom controls. We do provide you with a tool that will expand the map view to the overall United States. Should your vehicles travel to an area where you need to watch them on a wide scale, this is a fairly useful function. I talked earlier about the points of interest that we provide with the application. And in certain urban environments, there can be many of these points of interest on individual roadways. So what we've done in the application is provide you with a blue pushpin tool to make those points of interest appear and disappear from view should it be the case that there are so many of them on a particular roadway that it makes it difficult to see the movement of the vehicle. This tool will allow you to mask or show those particular points of interest. The green push pin that's associated next to it is for user-entered points of interest. Just like with geofences, we give you an unlimited capability to put your own points of interest on the map display, and should you happen to create so many of them that it makes it difficult to see the movement of the vehicle, the green push pin will cause those to disappear from view or return to view as necessary. A new feature that we've added to the Track Star application very recently is the ability to access a server that provides you with aerial imagery. We've been asked to integrate things like Google and Bing aerial imagery into our application, but we've resisted that because the data at those places is just not up to date enough or high resolution enough for the types of professional dispatching that our system is typically used for. So what we've done is we've integrated a connection between the Track Star system and the digital aerial imagery provided by a company called Digital Globe. Not only is this data higher resolution than you might find in Google or Bing, it also is updated much more frequently. So if you choose to use an aerial image overlay, you have that option available to you. You still retain all the points of interest information and things that we have in our normal map display, but this is a new feature and it is available for your use. Many of our customers find that the Track Star system is not only well suited to local office type applications, but it also works rather well in a mobile environment. We do provide you with a button that you'll see depicted as a moon-shaped icon that allows you to change the color scheme of the application. So if you do use the product in a mobile environment at night, you have a way of adjusting the color scheme so it's not quite as blinding. There is a routing function in the application. This is a tool that allows your office personnel to develop turn-by-turn driving directions to get a vehicle from its present location to a location that they would like it to be at, whether that be an address, the location of another vehicle in the fleet, or a custom point of interest that you place on the map display. We simply select the origin and the destination for the particular vehicle that we'd like to route, and then we use the Get Route button that's provided in the application to develop turn-by-turn driving directions along with a map display that the dispatcher can then relay to the vehicle occupant to assist them in getting to the desired location. And we find that many dispatchers can use this as an effective tool to help vehicles find locations that they're not familiar with. The Track Star system also provides an interface, if you choose to use it, to Garmin Newbie devices as both messaging and dispatch terminals within your vehicle. You can use a standard off-the-shelf Garmin Newbie or diesel device connected to the vehicle tracking equipment to provide a two-way messaging capability, as you see here, and also as a remote dispatching tool so that the dispatcher can send desired destinations to the navigation equipment as if they were in the vehicle and operating it themselves. They will electronically transmit the desired locations to the device, which will then guide the driver to the desired location. Along the top of the map display and iconic tools are a series of drop-down menus. The file drop-down provides us with the ability to do things like check for application updates and export the present map view to a bitmap file. So if you need to save this particular display and use it for other purposes, that functionality is provided for you. We also provide you with an area for your users to change some of the parameters about their operating environment, but only in accordance with the permissions granted to do that by the system administrator. One of the most important aspects of the Track Star system or any other AVL product is the reports. The reports are the tools that allow you to examine and document the movement of your vehicles, to analyze the things that they do when they're out of the office, and it allows you to make efficiency changes, measure the effectiveness of those changes, and so forth. We've grouped the reports in the system according to their functional similarities. The family of reports that you see here is the vehicle activity family. This provides you information such as the mileages that your vehicles drive, how much time they spend stationary, information about their idling activity, which is a huge expense in vehicle operations. If we can limit the vehicle idling that's excessive, we can save significant amounts of fuel within the fleet. We provide you with information about the vehicle's movement and stop activity, information about PTO utilization, activation of various inputs and outputs, movement of vehicles that violates assigned work shift, violations of both locally posted speed limit and policy speed limit, and so forth. One of the reports that's a good example of the reporting function in the system is a trip report. This is a report that allows us to generate all the movement and stop activity for a particular vehicle or vehicles. When we execute a report in the Track Star system, the first thing that we do is we select the vehicles that we'd like to include in the report, and then we select the desired range of date and time. This is the other tool that makes use of that extensive database that we've mentioned a few times. You're free to select any range of date and time that's of interest to you for your reports. It can be daily, monthly, hourly, weekly, anything that's of interest to you, because the data is stored indefinitely. Once we've made the appropriate selections, we use the Run Report button at the bottom of the dialog box, and the system will return to us the data that represents our inquiry. For example, it shows us that this particular vehicle was stopped from 8:44:42 this morning until 9:37:23 this morning at 680 Hollydale Drive. The bracketed name that precedes the address tells us the name of the geofence, if one exists, that the vehicle was in at that time. It also tells us the vehicle was at that location for 52 minutes 41 seconds. At 9:37:23, the vehicle began driving. It is stopped driving at 9:55:57, and it's covered a distance of 7.3 miles with an average speed of 24 miles an hour, and the elapsed time is 18 minutes and 34 seconds. We also asked the system to generate a report, or a map display with the report, I should say, and the next page of the report shows us that particular map display. In the Track Star system, all the reports can be printed from the viewer. They can also be exported as Excel workbooks, Adobe PDF files, and Microsoft Word documents, so you can use this information that we collect in reports and other things that you use this type of data for. Other reports in the application deal with the vehicle's interaction with geofences. When did the vehicles arrive and depart certain geofences? We can even compare vehicle arrival and departure from geofences against assigned work shifts that you establish in the system, so that you're able to see vehicles that are returning early at the end of the shift and are departing late at the beginning of the shift. We can even tell you how much time during a work shift the vehicle spends inside and outside geofences. So if you create geofences for your locations where vehicles gather, their workshops and dispatch locations, we can actually tell you how much time during each work shift the vehicles spent outside and inside, so you can have an idea who's hanging around the office a little bit too much. A series of supervisory reports provide you with more average information. It provides you with trending analysis tools to compare vehicle arrival and departure from these work areas, these geofences, against the assigned work shifts. It is a tool that helps your management personnel effectively manage the vehicle arrival and departures and ensure work shift compliance. We do provide a one-click reporting function in the application. This is a tool that allows the individual users to establish reports that they use on a frequent basis and not only save the report type that they're interested in, but also save the vehicles and date ranges that are used in these reports. This way the user is able to execute these individual reports without going through all of those different dialog boxes that you've seen, and then execute those reports with a single mouse click on the Run Report function. They can go off and get that first cup of coffee in the morning, come back, and all the reports that they need are displayed in front of them. The last area that we want to cover is the vehicle management and administrative area of the application. This is where the individuals in your organization with the appropriate rights have the ability to do things such as manage the vehicles within the fleet, manage the work shifts, the users, geofences and POIs, and how they interact with the individual vehicles and users. It also provides you with a security level management tool so that you can very carefully define what each type of user in the organization is able to do and not do within the application. In the area of vehicle management, you again see the depiction of the vehicle groups, which can be expanded to show the individual vehicles that are members of the group. And by selecting any vehicle, you're able to see here that you have complete control over things such as the vehicle name, the work group that it's assigned to, its home geofence. You can customize the icon for individual vehicles if you desire to do that. We can store information such as make, model, year, color, license, VIN, and so forth. Even provide you with 4 different user programmable fields so that you can store individual information of your own devising in these particular areas. This is also where we configure how the vehicle is going to react in the notification bar that you see at the bottom of the screen. How is it going to respond to the activation of digital inputs? What is it going to do in relation to speed violations and geofence violations, maintenance events, and so forth? So we give you complete control over how the system behaves. Since it is a customer-hosted solution, it's also a customer-administered